Get ready for a revelation that will stir your emotions, dear fan. Today, we bring you another exciting video about your beloved team. We are committed to bringing you fresh content every day, and to ensure you don't miss out, don't forget to show your support with a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. In this video, we're going to talk about something that has become an annual tradition: former Packers players who failed to shine with their new teams in 2023. From Equanimeous St. Brown to Lucas Patrick, Shandon Sullivan, Jamal Williams, and Datwan Jones, the list goes on. Dean Lowry, one of the last free agents from the Packers to remain in the NFC North, signed with the Minnesota Vikings last offseason. However, his time with the Vikings didn't meet expectations. Injured, he played only 9 games, with no sacks, significant QB hits, or tackles for loss, resulting in a disappointing PFF score of 47.4. His future with the Vikings for the next season is uncertain. Meanwhile, the Packers sought to improve their defensive line by parting ways with Lowry. With the emergence of Devontae Wyatt and solid draft picks like Colby Wooden and Carl Brooks, the team strengthened. Brooks, in particular, stood out with 4 sacks, 5 QB hits, and 6 tackles for loss, being considered one of the best finds of the draft. Gutekunst and his team understood the need for change and deserve credit for both the draft picks and the decision to release Lowry. This is just one chapter in the Packers' ongoing quest for excellence in the upcoming season. Roberto Tonyan, a name that echoed hope and expectations in the hearts of Packers fans. With the 2024 season looming and a new starting quarterback ready to lead the team, the temptation to re-sign free agents Tonyan and Mercedes Lewis was palpable. Just imagine, providing Jordan Love with 2 reliable reception options would have been a tempting strategy. However, the Packers surprised everyone by moving forward without Tonyan and Lewis, who ended up signing with division rivals, the Chicago Bears. Instead, they placed their trust in Luke Musgrave and Tucker Kraft, 2 rookies who, together, racked up an impressive 707 yards and 3 touchdowns, even with Musgrave missing 6 games due to injuries. Meanwhile, Tonyan barely made a mark in Chicago, recording just 11 receptions for 112 yards. It was a quiet season for the tight end, without touchdowns and with the lowest yardage total since 2019, when he was still a backup dealing with injuries. The Packers' decision not to re-sign Tonyan was a bold move, but one that proved to be right. They chose to rely on 2 rookies at tight end, and the gamble paid off. Musgrave and Kraft quickly stood out, bringing a new dynamic to the Packers' game. Now, it's up to NFC North rivals to wonder when they'll learn to stop betting on former Packers players in free agency. It seems that strategy rarely pays off. Allen Lazard. Randall Cobb wasn't the only former Packers receiver to join Aaron Rodgers in New York. Green Bay could have easily offered a new contract to Allen Lazard, providing Jordan Love with a veteran receiver familiar with the offense. Instead, Brian Gutekunst decided to move forward with rookies and second-year receivers, with the Jets handing Lazard a 4-year contract worth $44 million. The Packers built one of the league's most talented receiving groups, while the Jets are locked into Lazard's contract for at least 1 more season. Despite receiving a significant deal, the Jets made Lazard a healthy scratch in several games. In the 14 games he played, Lazard caught just 23 passes for 311 yards and 1 touchdown. We can assume that Lazard's numbers would have improved with a healthy Rodgers, but it's still not good enough. New York specifically signed Cobb to play with Rodgers, but Lazard needed to contribute, considering the contract the Jets gave him. You don't hand a receiver a $44 million deal for 23 receptions in the first year, no matter who's throwing the ball. Garrett Wilson had a 1,000-yard season in this offense. It seems like another bad decision for the Jets, but Gutekunst hit the mark. Perhaps New York should have realized that Green Bay was willing to let these players go. Randall Cobb. In the offseason's least surprising news, Randall Cobb followed Aaron Rodgers to the New York Jets, signing a 1-year contract with the team. Cobb has been one of Rodgers' most reliable targets. The catch? Rodgers only played 4 snaps. The entire Jets offense struggled with backup quarterbacks Zach Wilson, Trevor Siemian, and Tim Boyle, and Cobb couldn't make a consistent impact in his first season with the Jets. Cobb was active for 11 games, starting in 1, but ended up with just 5 receptions for 39 yards and 1 touchdown. The Packers replaced Cobb by drafting wide receiver Jayden Reed in the second round. Reed has already become one of Jordan Love's primary targets, hauling in 64 passes for 793 yards and 8 touchdowns in his rookie season. While it's unlikely Cobb would have stayed in Green Bay after Rodgers' departure, the Packers made the right decision to rebuild the wide receiver core around Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs. Brian Gutekunst hit a home run by drafting Reed and made the right call to let Cobb go. Cobb didn't get the chance to play with Rodgers in 2023 and is a free agent again this offseason. The Jets will have to determine whether to bring him back for another one-year deal. Green Bay Packers general manager Brian Gutekunst deserves praise for his work in the last offseason. The Packers had salary cap constraints and traded their Hall of Fame quarterback, but Gutekunst rebuilt the offense around Jordan Love and opened a new Super Bowl window. Calling last year's draft class a home run is an understatement. Gutekunst hit the nail on the head. He found Lucas Van Ness, Luke Musgrave, and Jayden Reed with the Packers' top 3 picks. He then added Dontavian Wicks, Carl Brooks, and Carrington Valentine on day 3. Despite all the well-deserved praise Gutekunst received for his draft picks, the underrated part of the job is knowing when to let players go. His decision-making was impeccable. Adrien Amos, known for his stellar performances during his tenure with the Green Bay Packers, showcased his prowess on the field for 4 remarkable seasons. With an impressive record of never missing a single start, Amos established himself as a pillar of consistency and reliability in the safety position. However, his transition to the New York Jets didn't unfold according to expectations. Despite his track record, Amos found himself in a different dynamic in New York. While he participated in 11 games, his role as a starter was limited to just 3 of those matchups. The decline in his playing time became evident after the initial 4 games, with Amos seeing significantly fewer defensive snaps in 6 out of the subsequent 7 games. This unexpected turn of events prompted the veteran safety to seek his release from the Jets, ultimately bringing an end to his stint with the team. Following his departure from the Jets, Amos found himself donning the jersey of the Houston Texans. Despite his experience and skill set, he primarily served in a backup capacity, appearing in 5 games without earning a starting position. As the off-season approaches, Amos once again enters the realm of free agency, presenting teams with an opportunity to secure his services. Meanwhile, the Green Bay Packers, recognizing the need for change, made the strategic decision to move on from Amos at the opportune moment. While his departure marked the end of an era, it also paved the way for new opportunities and fresh talent to emerge within the team's roster. Now it's your turn to interact with us. Leave in the comments what you thought of the video, and as usual, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notification bell.